Thank you very much. Hi, everybody. Thank you for being here today. Very much appreciated our May roundtables. I first want to start by introducing to you Carolina Garcera, sorry. And Carolina, do you want to say a few words? Maybe she does, maybe she doesn't. There you go.
Thank you. I just want to say hi, and I'm happy to work here in the community. And anything that you need, you're gonna know my information.
Thank you, Carlina. Obviously, Carlina is our bilingual family resource navigator. She has already started translating the family page on the UPK site into Spanish. So we will have all of that in both English and Spanish. So that's great and welcome. All right, let's get started. As I stated before, just so you are aware, the slides with the active links can be found at www.joininitiatives.org/UPK under CDEC roundtables so that you have that for you. Okay, these slides have all come from CDEC. So this is what was sent to us as what they want us to go through with you. So we're going to go through these slides. I cannot see the chat at the moment, so I'm going to count on Heather or Carolina to let me know if there are specific questions in the chat. I would prefer, however, that we wait until the end of the presentation and then we're happy to answer any of your questions and I can stop sharing at that point. CDEC wanted to make a point that they do have an accessibility statement, and you folks are all aware of the fact that UPK is really based on equitable access. It is meant to give families the opportunity to really be able to um, possibly be matched with the family of with the provider of their choice, and that they are doing everything they can to make sure that all CDEC information is in fact accessible for individuals with disabilities, as well as those who have technology issues. So this is there and for your reference. So our agenda today, there's going to be some reminders about office hours, payment reconciliation, direct enrollment, editing your provider profile to reflect your rates and fees, provider agreement office hours, FAQs, provider rates, revised contract language, provider interest form, and provider resources. All incredibly exciting topics. So the first is the office hour situation has changed in that provider office hours are only going to be done once a month with simultaneous translation instead of twice a month. So the one that you can keep on your calendar is the first Tuesday of each month at 6 p.m. This one is really meant for community providers, including family childcare teachers. The school district office hours have been scheduled on the third Thursday of each month at 4 p.m. AU office hours, second Tuesday of each month at 2 p.m. And then provider agreement office hours, they have cut down. These are not being done weekly now. So the last one was on Thursday, May 8th, and it will be every 2 weeks after that at 2 p.m. So, payment reconciliation, your final payment reconciliation deadlines, school districts must submit a ticket by May 23rd. And June 6th is the deadline for all other providers. So, if you have any concerns about payment reconciliation, you must submit a ticket to COUPK payments at metricsiq.com. And you must meet those deadlines depending upon whether or not you're a school district or a community provider. And this is a reminder that you can review your monthly payment reports through the payment partner account. So through Metrics Enroll, which you all should have a login to. And if you need further assistance in being able to get into there, this is the link where you can get instructions. And then for any questions or issues related to your payment, submit a ticket at COUPK Payments or use this link. A reminder with direct enrollment for non-IEP families, it began on April 1st, as you all know, and will go through the rest of the program all the way through May of 2026. That means that there are no longer any matching rounds and that you will see students have selected you in your matched tab. And this tab will include all applications that have been submitted since May 6th that included you as a provider on their application. And this could be someone who is looking for a change in placement. It could be somebody that is new that has come into the community. And if they have chosen you for the 25-26 year, they are in selected status. And so, again, a reminder that the provider handbook has all of the information about how to look at that and what you can do to offer a placement to a family if they are in selected status with you. I would suggest that when you see those families, before offering them a placement, you call them and ask them if they are interested in a tour with you, so that you are sure that they have some interest in receiving that match. Otherwise, if you give them a match and you send them a match and they in fact do not see it or do not follow up on it, they're being held up from being able to offer a match from another provider. So it is probably best that you take advantage, if you do not have any seats, that you take advantage of the information you have and go ahead and call them and offer them a tour. If you see someone in selected status and you do not have seats, then please go ahead and decline them. And you can decline that by saying you have no gen ed seats, or just find a reason that makes the most amount of sense from the list that's being offered to you. Okay. This is a reminder to edit your provider profile to reflect rates and fees. In the email that I sent out to you yesterday, I let you know that Heather and I are going through and we are reviewing all of our provider profiles. And we are reaching out to you through Metrics IQ, through Zendesk, to let you know that we have noticed that you do not either have rates or fees, or maybe both, in your profile. There may also be other suggestions that we want to make to you so that your profile is as clear and as possible for families, but this is required as a result of the provider agreement. So there is a little pencil icon next to the location name, and that is how you get in and edit your profile. And so, as we said, you need to indicate your payment methods or additional financial assistance offered, and then you must enter tuition and fees within the financial information section. Just a reminder for the recording for anybody who is not here but is watching this later, this is required through the provider agreement. So please do it. Otherwise, we're going to have to continue to follow up with you, and that's probably not a best use of our time and certainly not a best use of your time. So we appreciate your support. This again shows you how to get into to edit your provider profile. So it's the icon next to your name. By the way, this complete your profile section up here that says on this one 61%. I have yet to see anybody get to 100% on this, and I have absolutely no idea why. So just add into your profiles whatever it is that you would like to have in there, and don't worry about the percentage at this point. You can always go back and look at your profile from the parent perspective to see if it's showing what you want it to show. But again, don't worry about the percentage. I still can't figure out why we can't get to 100%, but there you go. Um, there were provider agreements, office hours, FAQs that were put out. There were a lot of questions asked, of course, during the provider agreement sessions, and those FAQs can be found at the link in the slide. They are continuing to update the document, and I also wanted to remind you that in the last provider agreement webinar, there was a statement that providers wishing to opt in to an August payment, and you have to opt in. They are paying in arrears. So if you do not opt into an August payment, your first payment will be September 15th, and it will be based on your August enrollment. You can opt into an August payment, but realize that that means that the May payment that would be made in at the end of May or early June in 2026 will not be paid for you. So you're choosing to get paid up front as opposed to paid at the back, but you're still only going to get 10 payments. So look at that and make sure that you feel comfortable with how you're managing your cash flow. And if you do want an August payment, there will be a Smartsheet form that will be shared widely once it is available. It is not available yet. And you can complete that form and ask for an August payment rather than waiting until May. Provider rates are up on our site for 2025-26. And I cannot tell you exactly how they were calculated, but these are the ones for El Paso County. There is an information memorandum linked here that you can go to if you would like more information about that. It's quite a complex algorithm that they use to determine what's going to be the rate in each one of the areas. But our rates have been posted on the UPK page for your information and for your use in calculating your tuition for the coming year. There is also some revised contract language that I'm sure that all of you are familiar with at this point. Any of you who signed a provider agreement prior to the contract language being changed is likely to get a revised provider agreement. And those of you who had not received one to begin with will be receiving one. They said they were going to start sending them out May 1. I don't know whether they are in fact doing that, but they should be out shortly. The red line contract language really talks about their change in the approach to fees, and it also talks about wait lists. So I have more information about that we can certainly talk about in the questions section after I get through these slides. But wanted to remind you that that there is some change in the provider agreement language, and that you should look at that prior to signing the agreement. Here is the links to the provider agreements for your information. And then there is also, for those of you who are coming on new, there is a provider interest form. It's a Google form that guides providers through questions that will determine their Secretary of State registration requirements. The submission of the Google form is required for all providers and will capture all the items required for contract execution. I'm sure most of you have already submitted this. This is the form that includes your insurance and your Secretary of State registration, etc. All of that must be done before you're going to receive a provider agreement. So just a reminder about that. And then here's our final slide full of provider resources. What is not on here is us at JI. We are always available to you as needed. We are we are starting to move toward Zendesk and everything being submitted through Zendesk. This is a branch of the state's help desk, and it is our particular section of it, and it allows us to be able to track the amount of time that we are spending on each ticket and how what kinds of questions are coming up in the hope that we can be proactive in making sure that the information that we're sending out to you is complete and that you are getting everything you need. So keep an eye out for responses through Zendex or Metrics IQ. Occasionally, you will get one directly from either Heather or me, or Carlina is going to start doing some of this too. Of our email addresses, but most of it will come through Zendesk. So make sure that you have whitelisted that so that you can receive those. All right, let's go to questions. Let's see, links aren't clickable in this meeting. Could someone put the FAQ link in the chat, please? Barb, as stated earlier, the slides for this particular meeting with all of the links that are clickable are on the JIUPK page under CDEC roundtables. I checked them this morning. If for whatever reason they are not still clickable, let me know. An email address we should be using for Zendesk. Karen, can you unmute and tell me a little bit more about your question? Clarify it.
Sure. Typically, when I have something come up, I just email you directly. Is
Right.
there an how should I get help now?
Well, there's two ways to do that. So you can go directly, you can email UPK at jointinitiatives.org, and that will go up to the state help desk, and they will take care of you if it is what they call a tier one request. So something that is pretty simple that they're permitted to do. That's the first choice. The second choice is to go ahead and email me as you have at nglt@mac.com. I will forward it to UPK Joint Initiatives. And that way, if it happens that way, or if it goes to Heather and she forwards it, then it still sits with us and we have the option of being able to answer it ourselves rather than it going up to the state help desk. So if it's really simple and you just want a quick, down and dirty sort of thing, feel free to send it to upk at jointinitiatives.org directly. And the state help desk will take care of it. And if they can't, they send it back to us. Or, as I said, I forward almost, not every email, but I forward almost every email I get to UPK at Joint Initiatives, and then I answer it, or Heather answers it as we have the knowledge and the know-how to do it. Is that helpful? Karen?
Yes, extremely. Thank you.
All right, thanks. Let me get back to being able to see the chat. All right, who else has questions at this point? Anything that's going on that you want to talk about further? You want to talk about wait lists or are you good with wait lists? Brandy, do you have a question?
Me? No, I'm sorry.
Okay, will you go? Thank you. Okay, the state is now calling them interest lists instead of wait lists. You're not allowed to have wait lists. So please make sure that you read the FAQs around wait lists. The point really is to make sure that equitable access is being maintained as much as possible. But with direct enrollment, you certainly do have the ability to prioritize the folks that are going to go into any open seats that you have available. Um, and please make sure that you have a policy in place as to how you're prioritizing people and follow that policy so that if anybody were to ask, you can pull it out and say, this is our policy and we're following it. Well, this was quick.
There's one in there from Barb that says, what are the rates for 3-year-old gen ed students now that they are being funded monthly?
Um, Barb, I believe I sent you all of the information that I had about 3-year-olds at this point, and you're going to have to submit that to, well, I'm going to have to figure out who you can submit it to. And, but it is my understanding essentially that the money that you have available to you for 3-year-olds is that amount of money is going to be divided by 10 and paid to you monthly. And then you decide how many 3-year-olds you want to serve with that. That is my understanding, but I will try once again to get you a more definitive answer, but this is way outside my scope at this point. Any of you from other school districts, have you heard something different or know something different? Because I don't sit on the school district provider meetings. Lori, Stacy,
I haven't heard any updates on it.
okay. Karen,
I haven't heard anything either. Sorry, Karen.
all right. I will submit one more time today. I'll probably submit it to Glenn Robinson, the assistant UPK director or whatever he's called up there, and see if I can get some information on that and get it back to you. But whereas you were paid last year in one lump sum at the beginning of the year, the fact that they're doing this monthly now, it's still the same amount of money. That's your guaranteed money. And so it only makes sense at this point that they would divide it by 10 and send it to you monthly.
Thanks,
But
Noreen. It sounded like it was going to be based on the number of 3-year-olds we had enrolled. So that's good to know that that's out there.
I think you're still going to have to submit the number of 3-year-olds that you enroll. I think you're still going to have to submit
Right.
3-year-old attendance and enrollment.
Hmm.
But I think your money is based on the guaranteed amount that you had as of 22, 23.
Okay. Thank you for that.
But let me confirm it in
Okay.
case I told you wrong.
Okay. Thanks.
Mhm. Anything else? Okay. Please, 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 if you do not have your tuition and your fees in your profile, please get it in there. Because we're going to have to keep bugging you until you do. And if you need any help with that in terms of how to do this, how to figure it out, I mean, most of you have been doing it at least for a couple of years now. But anyone who is still struggling with that, please reach out to me and I will try to assist you with that. The 25-26 rates are up. So you should be able to put your 25-26 fees and tuition in there now. If you do not charge for your program because you only have a half day program or you only have a part day program, that needs to go in there too, along with the fact that you do not have any fees. It needs to be very clear to families that you are not charging any fees and any tuition for your programs. Okay, if there's nothing else, Heather, you can stop the recording.